Hey, everyone. This is the Let's Get Loud podcast with your host, Jay and A. And today we have a special guest, someone new to the picture, someone exciting, you guys, Rebecca Morrison. Hey, Rebecca, tell me where you're from because I forgot to ask you.
Yeah, I'm originally from Iran. I'm an immigrant. I came with my parents when I was very young. And I went to high school in California. And then I went to college and law school in DC. And I've really stayed in the DC area since then.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing along that journey. Wow, that is quite the journey.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Okay, so let us tell you why, everyone listening, why she's here with us today. So, Rebecca wrote a piece for the Today Show, and it kind of went viral, and I stumbled across it, and we kind of crossed paths, and here she is on our podcast, everyone. So, you are so welcome for this amazing woman. We're going to go through what that piece, that article was, and obviously why, we reached out to her and really wanted to talk with her. But this story is definitely going to hit home for a lot of you. So it is a very deep conversation that we're going to be having, but definitely worth getting loud about.
Absolutely. I think so too.
Okay.
So yeah, tell us how this came to be. And I'm assuming when you wrote this piece, you didn't write it for the purpose of virality.
No, I wrote this piece actually when I started writing about a year and a half ago, in earnest, and it was in a writing class. I I do want to tell my story, and I did want to say this is a core of who I am, and what I believe in. My mother, I grew up with an immigrant mother who really believed that being thin was a very important aspect of being a woman. It translated into power, worth, um, and the ability to achieve success in life in terms of getting a great husband, it may seem like an old-fashioned notion, but the truth is, millions of people still believe that. And I have tried to kind of fight against that since I was 13 years old, right? So my mom really wanted me to be thin. She thought that I had the potential to be something, to be beautiful, to be a desirable, to be uh, exceptional in my look, in my beauty. And to her, that meant being thin. That's it. Bottom line.
I'm sure a lot of you listening are now realizing why she's here, right? Like it's like, okay, I see the connection and why she's here. Because I think that, like, I just reading it, ever since I can remember, my mother has been on a diet. She grew up in a time where every message she got told her, she got told her that was a woman's worth was measured by her beauty and her body. So for me, that is like, I mean, that's just what you told us, right? That measured her worth with how she
Yeah,
looked.
yeah, and I think it's not just her generation and her culture. Um, it's really still so prevalent today. What's happened since I've started writing, and this piece you mentioned did go viral. I've on the Today Show website for their Facebook page, it got more than 1,000 comments, more comments than almost any other post they had in the last weeks. I mean, more comments than the biggest pop stars in the world. Why? Because, and I've gotten hundreds of emails about it from women. Women and some men also feel that this is their story, that growing up, they did not feel that they were seen, that they did not feel that they were complete or worthwhile if they didn't lose weight. And whether it was their mother or their father or, somehow society telling them that. Now, what I've started doing is writing about this, and I am writing 2 books. I'm writing a children's book, which hopefully will be coming out in a year or two, based on my childhood. And really specifically talking about kids in early teens and preteen being pressured for whatever reason. And my story is because of my mother and her, what the reasons she had. She was doing the best she could because she really believed that was important. That was her job as a mother, to make sure I was successful. And that meant she believed in education, she believed in career, but at the core of everything, you see a person every day. And that look was very important, not just to her, to billions of people in billions, of households. The story, the children's book is about that, and how this girl, which is my story, developed an eating disorder. I had a bulimia for many years, and I still struggle with binge eating, but not the other half of that condition, which I dealt with, and I have a HuffPost piece that I wrote about it. And then also, I'm also writing a memoir about what it's like as a woman, as an immigrant, as a American, dealing with an identity, dealing with a woman's worth. How are we going to fight to have worth in this society that's not based on our bodies?
That's a big question. Like, and
Yeah.
what an important conversation, and what an important question. How are
And
we gonna do that, ladies?
you know what? I totally see too that what you're saying is that, it's different than when you were growing up. There's no question, but we still have so much work to do. We have so much work to do on this topic. It does. Yeah. I do think it starts with us, and we do need to start thinking about it being our job and our responsibility, and not looking for someone else to fix this for us.
Absolutely.
It's got to start with us.
And virality comes with when it's relatable. That is what brings virality. So when they talk about celebrities, that is not relatable to the common person reading this, or reading that article. So that's why I think that we need more articles and stories that are relatable, to be able to make an impact.
And then the other thing that I will be writing in both books, is how do you heal from that? And a lot of people haven't, that have reached out to me, and some have. How do you heal when you have had that experience with somebody that is the most important person in your life growing up? Your parent. Your parent has said, I love you, but you would be worthwhile if. And then you grow up with that. How do you heal? Well, there is a way. And I talk about that in the piece, and I will be talking about that in both books, for children and for adults. How do we heal? How do we say to this person, I need you to see me this way and accept me like this? And that person, and my mother, I want to say, she's an exceptional woman, because she was able to say, I understand what I did was wrong. And you are.
When I read that part, I was like, when I read that part of your essay, I was like, oh, like I was so happy for you, first of all. And I think that, it's almost too bad that it took so many years for those words to be said. And all along, like you said, she was doing her best. Like, she was doing what she believed in, and beliefs are so strong. Like, when you believe something, it really becomes your truth, and it becomes how you show up, and it becomes how you speak. And I'm just so happy that you got to have that moment with her, even though it doesn't erase a lot, but it definitely is a step forward, and you deserve that, and I love what you said. Even if it's not even about your weight or how you look, if you don't feel enough for the people that you love, and you didn't feel enough so for you, it was thinness, but for others, it's just like, they're not smart enough, or they're not, they're not funny enough, or they're not social enough, or they're not like their peers or their brothers and sisters. So I think just not feeling like you're enough within your household, that's heavy. That's a lot.
It is. And children, when we are that age, we are soft concrete, and it hardens during that time, right? During the teen years, somewhere around there. And then you're carrying that for the rest of your life. And I liked what you said about This is not about pointing fingers. It's about sharing an experience and talking about how we go through that journey and having other people see that they're not alone in what they went through or they're going through. I had mothers emailing me saying their daughters are hiding wrappers in their bedroom or they're struggling because they're overweight. What should I say to them? I'm no expert, but they asked me, what would your 13-year-old, and I don't, and I've cried every time I've read this comment, and I've gotten so many of them. What would you tell me as your 13-year-old self? And I really thought about it, and I can't respond to all the comments. Really, there's been thousands of comments and emails and everything all together, and I've tried to read all of them. But what I said to this woman is that, not being an expert on this, just simply what I would want as a girl, as a daughter, is a mother that says, I love you exactly like you are. I don't want you to be anything else. You are right. You are complete. You are wonderful the way you are. Then how do you deal with something that is really troublesome? If there is other issues, if you're hiding food, there is an issue, which I did lots of times, right? I developed a full eating disorder. You find an expert, you find a therapist. So that person, and a therapist, even though we are so much more open about talking about mental health, there's still such a stigma. And I am a huge advocate for putting the therapist box as a normal life occurrence. When you go to the doctor for your body, that seems like a responsible thing to do. You should see a therapist as the same kind of thing for your mind. And children need somebody to talk to. A 13-year-old can't have the person that they see as their entire lifeblood's, love source as the same person that needs to help them change. They need an external source. I think, again, I'm no expert, but that's what I would have wanted. I would have wanted my mother just to say, I love you. You don't need to change at all. That takes so much of, our worth and our hearts and our souls to really believe that, having a mother say, I love you unconditionally no matter what, and I think you're beautiful the way you are. And then if there's a problem, have them talk to somebody. And I think it's that's what I told her.
Absolutely. I think though, what's hard, especially right now, is having access to a therapist. It's a 2-year, waiting
So
process. Where we are from, it's a 2-year waiting process to see a therapist. And I think that is a problem in our society, in our culture, that we should be working on. I think that's why anxiety and depression and people are feeling so overwhelmed in their lives, but we don't have access to help. We don't have access to, so it really becomes like, that's why, self-help books are a multi-million-dollar industry. People are trying to figure this out without having to wait 2 years. When you really want to, you're reading a self-help book. You're like, I am feeling the pressure. So I think, of course, seeing someone, what you are saying is that they need to talk to someone. And I agree. Yeah. They need a different perspective. They need a different, set of beliefs as well.
Yeah. And I know that we've been talking about young kids, but that's what I'm kind of concentrating on now. But eating disorders have become an epidemic for younger and younger kids, especially girls and boys also. And, if we're able to just change, move the needle even a tiny bit in this huge, enormous issue, then it's worth talking about. I'm just saying, you don't, a worth of a woman or a man, but since I do women's, I talk about my own experience, is not tied to your body, period. Your worth is not tied to your body.
No,
how you can do a lot of different things.
How you look.
You can be, and the way you look. Being healthy is important. Obviously getting checkups, making sure that you're physically healthy is important, and I advocate that for myself and for everybody. But the notion that you are attractive, or that somehow your attractiveness as a girl or as a woman, determines your life's happiness or purpose or meaning or success is something we need to break open.
Yeah, we need to address it. It's a very important conversation. Yeah.
And we talk about that often too, is, women often come to us and they are seeking weight loss, or at least they think they're seeking weight loss, but they're actually seeking happiness. And they are assuming that that is going to come through weight loss. And we are so honest and say, actually, let's back up the bus here, because thinness, it is not coming with happiness, and you will just get yourself on that hamster wheel of thinner and thinner and thinner. So we're not working to make women thinner. We're working to make women happier, for them to feel worthy, for them to show up like with their full potential, their favorite selves, we call them. And we need to get rid that noise. We call it noise, the societal pressures, the shouldn't, all of that stuff. We need to kind of get it out before we can do that.
Yeah.
And it's, the advocating healthy lifestyle and moving. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. And that has all kinds of elements, and including a lot of health elements about, moving your body and different things. I'm not a doctor by any, I'm no expert. So I really don't want, and it's not tied to be whatever size you want, and don't worry about your health. Health is important. As women, we want to live, and we want to live a long time. And I want women to be, taking care of their bodies. But a lot of times, and this has been said, but I don't think enough, your size in your body is necessarily the way you look equated to your health. That's between you and your doctor. And I tell you that so many times, even today, I have to remind myself, I know that I am healthy because of me and my doctor. And whether I am, I lost 40 pounds because I had a health issue. I was not happier then. I could have been happier then or happy now. It has nothing to do with that size. It has to do with, am I living a purposeful life? Am I living a meaningful life? Am I challenging myself? Am I doing something for the world? Am I taking care of my family? Are they taking care of me? It's those elements make happiness.
Yeah. We often say, you're chasing weight loss thinking that happiness is going to come as a byproduct of weight loss. And it's actually the opposite. If you were to chase what makes you happy, to start prioritizing what you want to do, your body, your health, weight loss can be a byproduct of that. But it shouldn't be the focus. It shouldn't be, it happened because I was finally taking care and showing up as who I want to be. That can occur. That's exactly what you're saying. I'd like to come back to your mother, because, you talked about beliefs, like she believed that, right? And we talked about like, what's the problem? Who's the culprit here? Is that the right word, you guys? Did I use that? I'm so excited sometimes when I use the right fancy words. That is a fancy word for a French person, culprit. I'm thinking her belief system came from somewhere, right? And so recognizing where it comes from.
Yeah. Look at Hollywood now. I mean, I don't want to say too much about that because it's a complicated thing. They have to be on TV and that's their career. But why is Ozempic one of the most popular things for not only people in Hollywood, definitely, but other industries that have money, that have power? So many articles in Slate, in The Wire, talking about how, people have said thin is power. So they're using this, and again, it's not against Ozempic or for Ozempic. The point is, it's a symbol
The
of
symbol.
what
I see. Yeah.
we're doing,
Yeah.
of what we want so desperately, right?
It's
Make
the
me
message.
fit.
It's the
Yeah.
message.
That's the message. Some people will need that and it'll save their life. And I support it 100%. Again, it's between you and your doctor. But so my mother, who grew up in Iran, is not different than millions of Americans today that are desperate for this shot. Not because their doctor says you need this, but because they want a solution to this. They want a magic pill. They want a magic pill for happiness, and they equate happiness with being thin.
I was just going to
100%.
say, millions of Americans are wanting happiness, Rebecca. They don't even want like whatever that would mean, power, happiness, okay. And they're like, oh, we've had this message for years that thinness would bring us that. And so that's why it's still a multi-million dollar, billion dollar industry, weight loss. And people are taking advantage of that, you know, because they know that people are really just chasing happiness here. Absolutely.
We will see, and pieces are coming out about it now. Doctors talking about, yes, it could be a solution for somebody that needs it. But again, these are temporary, a lot of time temporary solutions.
Yeah, like life-saving solutions, really. Life-saving. Not your last 10 pounds so you can fit better in a, you know what I mean? Let's be real here.
Right. And those, I mean, again, I really advocate for living a purposeful, meaningful life.
Yes.
And everything else will come with it.
Yes.
You know, a healthy life, and healthy mentally and physically, right? And whatever, the only thing is, what I really do care about for kids, especially that are so vulnerable when they're young and they're given these messages and they're not able to form their own ideas of what is worthwhile, you know, their worth as young girls and then growing up as women. That's really why that piece resonated with so many people. Thousands and thousands of comments, millions probably. I haven't gotten a specific, but I'm guessing a lot of people have viewed that didn't comment or email me, of people saying, this is my exact story, whether it's 50 years ago, 20 years ago, or today. It's the same exact story, because it's not, for me, it wasn't my mother's fault. It was what she thought was the best thing. And now she sees something different. And we've talked about it. She said, you showed me through your life, through your example, what it means to have worth as a woman.
Yes, yes. You were the one at the end to teach her that skill and to make her believe that. She watched you do it. It's quite special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are very close. We talk every day. We FaceTime every day. And we are two imperfect women living this life as mothers, as women, trying to have take this one life we have on this earth and do something with it, you know, have
Get
love.
louder.
Get louder. Boy, I am I am very much fit into the name of your podcast. I do get quite loud.
I like that for you. No, we just want to help women get louder about what they want, to start really communicating and vocalizing who they truly are. We feel like women lose themselves a lot through motherhood. That's also something that we talk on. I feel like we very much connect to your message. So to anyone that's listening, first of all, we are definitely going to add the link to that piece to this podcast. So go and check that out. One last question. What was your mom's reaction to your essay? Did she read it? Is she a part of the virality? What's happening there?
You know, when I started writing about this, I talked to my mother a lot. I mean, I talk to her every day, and she's been incredibly supportive.
Oh, good.
She's been incredibly supportive. The Today Show piece was a little bit tougher because it really was so widespread, and the title was a little bit rough for her and of the piece.
I see.
But But what she's always said is, I support you 100%. And I love you unconditionally. So, especially in the last, 10, 15, 20 years that we've transitioned from a child relationship to an adult relationship. And it made a huge difference when I became a mother. You have, when you become a mother, you do really start to, oh, I did anyway, have a lot more sympathy and understanding of your mother.
Of course.
Because it's not easy making every single decision for your child. And boy, we all make mistakes, and I certainly have too. So that's been good. And I want to tell people, if I may, if they want to follow me on Twitter, that's where I really live. That's where my writing, I talk mostly about writing and these issues, because this is my meaning, my purpose now is to write these articles and books. Is Contact Rebecca, very simple, at Contact Rebecca. And my website is Rebecca K. Morrison, if they want to sign up for my newsletter or anything.
Perfect. We'll write that in the show notes as well. Rebecca K. Morrison. Thank you so much, Rebecca. This was such an impactful, powerful conversation. Thank you for putting that out in the world. It is important that we have more relatable stories out there. We relate to you. Our listeners definitely relate to you, and we appreciate you being here. And we are looking forward to those books. So let us know, let Alicia and I know when they're out, and we will definitely help you promote those. So thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca. Bye.
Bye.